Okay, in our previous video we talked about the multi-cut tool, and now we're going to talk about another tool called the edge loop. Notice I'm not using the cube now, so we're going to be using a cylinder instead of a cube. Let the cubes rest for a while. Yeah. Alright, so how does the edge loop work? It actually creates, just like we did with the multi-cut while holding down the control, it makes us make a seamless cut across the object or around the object following a particular axis or following a loop. And when we're modeling, we always want to have a loop either from the faces or the edges or the vertices, but there should be a loop so that when we want to make corrections or want to manipulate the object, to be easier to make it from a loop. So the edge loop is among the tools, and we'll find it under mesh tools because we're going to work with mesh tools. The beautiful thing about the insert edge loop, which is this one here, insert edge loop, not insert like insert edge loop. Well, anyhow you want to call it, but it's an edge loop. Okay, now it has its settings, and in the settings you have the settings that tell you to cut relative, multiple edges, or equal distance from the edge. So that's from wherever the edges are, you want to cut equal distances, or you want a relative distance from the edge from wherever your mouse is, or multiple edge loops, that is to tell you how many number of edges you want to create. But all this we can switch after we have created the loop. Okay, so now that I've selected the tool, you notice that my arrow has changed, and this is the idea of edge loops. If I want to cut horizontally, I need to select a vertical edge. If I want to cut horizontally, I need to select a vertical edge. And if I want to make an edge cut vertically, I have to select a horizontal edge. So let me do that and show you. Now I want to make a loop cut horizontally across the cylinder. I have to select a vertical edge. So this is a vertical edge. Once I select it, you see I'm now making a horizontal cut. Okay, so wherever I leave my mouse now, it will create a cut across my object neatly, no matter the angle I was. Okay, I'll make another one. So remember, selecting a vertical edge will enable me cut horizontally. What if I want to make a vertical cut? Then I will select a horizontal edge like this. So once I select a horizontal edge, I'll be able to make a vertical cut. But I can't go around. I cannot go between or above another edge. So because this already has some edges, I have to make more selections here. Okay. Alright, so that's how to cut that edge loop. So let me get another cylinder here. Then just let me go back to object mode. It's kind of too round, so let me just give it a few subdivisions. Let me make this 8 so that it's a little bit more not as round as usual. Okay, so now I've gone to my move tool. If I want to switch back to my edge loop, or when I said edge loop, or the previous tool I just used, there's a shortcut in Maya apart from me coming to click on it here, and that is to use the Y. Y will take me back to the tool I just used, the previous tool I just used. Okay, so like I said, I want to make a vertical cut. I use a horizontal edge. I want to make a horizontal cut. I use a vertical edge. Okay, all right. So that's how the edge loops are used, and they are very handy because they have varied users. So let's say right now I've cut across this and I want to make it equal, maybe make more than one cut. I could as well go and cut more. Choose what if I want them to all have equal distance between each other? I can do that from here. So I'll just switch back to my move tool. I go into my channel box or my attribute editor. I kind of prefer to go to the attribute editor most times. So right here we have what we call split type. Now remember, relative means wherever my mouse was. So if I go to multi now, multi will now tell me how many loops should be made. By default, 2 will pop up. So we now see 2 loops are created with equal distances between them and their edges. So, but if I want to make more, I can increase from here. And you see it creates edge loops that have equal distances from the edges. And that's how to make multiple edge loops that have equal distances. Okay, so with this now, someone could come in, select face mode, hold down shift, pick one, hold down shift, click twice, and you pick round. Remember, I taught this before, but let me show it again. If I want to pick a loop around, this is the essence why we use loops. You want to be able to select a loop. So you click once on one face and you hold down shift and click twice, like double clicking but not too fast, and you'll be able to select it. If you just double click, it will select the whole faces on the object. So you want to click once, then click twice, select a loop. So right now I can come in here and extrude, and it will come up and create something for me. So I could do something like this, you know, and go inward with that. So I'm just doing extrusions on the y-axis so that it just creates that division there. Then Control E again, and I'm going to pull out. So don't mind what I just did. I have no idea what I just created, but I just want to show you why it's important to be able to select loops. So if I pick this loop, you can see I've selected only the objects in that loop, the faces on that loop, and not anywhere else. So I could actually style this with a different color. I could pick this loop, do the same thing, and it picks only those in that loop. If I pick this and do this, it picks only those stuff in that loop. So it's always important when modeling to have a continuous loop around your objects. It's not good to just have your objects having faces in different corners that are not looped together, because then it's easier to manipulate the objects. So we're going to use this edge loop to create some more visions in the previous car we were doing the previous exercise. So let's get back to the car.